What's going on, people? It's Kish. Y'all reviews and vlogs. I'm getting used to my new channel name, right? Um, Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the video because I'm going to be breaking down Cheyenne Bryant all week because there's a lot of content that are clips out there I see. So stay tuned. And the reason why I got to break this down, right? I got to break it down for my Caribbean brethren, and I got to break it down for my Black American brethren. Um, because I see what's going on, right? I see what's being done, and I'm going to break it down in the presentation. But first, let's present the video of Dr. Bryant, or Cheyenne Bryant, right? Let's break it down of what she says.
35-ish range, even a little younger than 30, they are
fair use.
Are a lot more mature than a lot of these younger men in that 35-ish range, even a little younger than 30. They are a lot more mature than a lot of these men who are 45 and up. They're not stuck in their ways. They are very flexible. They open doors. They know how to date. They are actually hunters like men used to be. Calling.
Stop right, blood clot. That's make them break it down. This is why they're doing this. And we're gonna be breaking it down throughout the whole video, right? So this is the first part, right? So let me let her get through it first. Let me get it through. Let me let her get through it first, right?
They're love bugs. They want to get married. They're all
they ain't like the old school. That we the old guard. We the hunters.
Yeah, and let me say this: not only women, but men in their 30s are the new generation that don't have baby mamas.
Okay, so we gonna get into it. Let's get into it. I know what she was saying, and by the way, throughout the whole interview, she was flirting with Shannon. But anyway, that's another thing. Love bug. This is what they mean. Love bugs, opening doors, and the gentleman illusion. Dr. Bryant claims younger men today are love bugs, opening more doors, being more affectionate, and acting more gentlemanlike. But here's the code. When she says gentleman, she doesn't mean the Victorian gentlemen who had standards, disciplines, and boundaries. Victorian gentlemen who were only gentlemen to high-quality women. They did not entertain low-value, disrespectful, or chaotic women. That is the difference. This is the key right here. That's the key. That's the key to being a gentleman of the silent generation and the greatest generation. They were not gentlemen to low-value, disrespectful, chaotic women. They were gentlemen to all women. They were only gentlemen to ladies or high-quality women, right? And I'm going to break down what is the quality woman that I'm speaking of, right? You know what? I was going to do that in a separate video, but I'm going to tell you what the high-quality women look like. Give me 1 second. Since nobody wants to give that a definition, and I know why that's going on too, but this is what it is. This is what the high quality women that you should pick objectively. No, this goes for all women. All women have to exhibit these things, right? To get access to your masculinity or your gentlemanness, right? Hold on. This is important, but this is gonna be for another video, right? How submission shows up. She follows your lead without resistance or resentment. She supports the direction you set for the household or relationship. She chooses cooperation over control. She relinquishes the need to compete with you, right? Most Black women fail this already. Submission is a woman's willingness to align her actions, decision, and attitude with the leadership of the man she has chosen, right? Obedience, right? She listens, she follows, and doesn't reinterpret your boundaries. She does not challenge your structure or create chaos. She respects your time, your direction, and your decision. She wants to maintain order, not undermine it. Your order, right? You cannot lead someone who refuses to follow. Respect. She does not raise her voice, belittle you, or talk down to you. She honors your boundaries without arguing. She speaks well of you publicly and privately. She defends your name in your absence. She does not embarrass you socially or digitally. If a woman respects you, she will not sabotage you, not even emotionally. Love. She's emotionally invested in your growth. She prioritizes your happiness and peace. She cares about your physical and mental health. She wants to add to your life, not drain it. Now, of course, you award women like that, like women that present these pillars right here. Pillar 1, submission. Pillar 2, obedience. Pillar 3, respect. Pillar 4, love. Pillar 5, like. Pillar 6, consistency. Pillar 7, emotional health. Pillar 8 pillars. That is what a good woman is. She got to compete with 8 pillars. And to the woman watching this, Dr. Bryant, if you ever see this, I don't give a shit fuck if this is too difficult. Because black men, we have to overcompete to gain access to you. So if you get one to match that energy, you're going to have to overcompete to get access to me. This is why they pick the younger men. Because the younger men, they don't understand these 8 pillars right here. They don't understand this. Which is the reason why I'm doing this. I don't see anybody breaking these things down the way I'm breaking it down right here. Besides maybe the angry man, right? But I don't think he even breaks it down like this. Shout out to the angry man standard, his book, right? Because I read his book. I don't know from what I recall from the book. I have to go read it again. I don't know if he broke it down like this, the difference between the different pillars or the 8 pillars that a woman has to present to you objectively. And because most black women have not put the work in to know what these things mean, they just tell black men you picked the wrong woman, you didn't pick the right woman. Well, this is the woman this is the right woman. I'm telling you what the right woman is. All right? Because nobody wants to give that definition. I think the angry man does it. But I don't think he does it the way I'm doing it. But shout out to him still. Right? When she says, so y'all get what the right woman is to be a gentleman too, right? I hope y'all understand that. To the men in my generation, to myself, and to the generation after me. I hope y'all understand that. And importantly, Victorian and traditional gentlemen married younger women, not 40 or 50-year-old women like Dr. Bryant is describing. So what is she really talking about? She's talking about younger men who are inexperienced, younger men who haven't gone through their masculine rites of passage, younger men who have been raised by dysfunctional single mothers and therefore have no standards, have no masculine boundaries, don't know how to vet a disrespectful woman or to dismiss a disrespectful woman, don't know how to enforce structure, don't know how to lead a relationship, confuse lust with love. That love bug she's talking about is not genuine affection or masculine chivalry. It's biological sexual drive combined with inexperience. It's testosterone meeting manipulation. All the women see these younger men and think, perfect, someone with hormones of a young man, but the boundaries of a boy. That's what they seek, not younger men with discipline, younger men without it, right? So that's what they're looking for. Why older women target younger men? All the women like Dr. Cheyenne Bryant and Tracy Ellis Ross are targeting younger men for 2 main reasons. Younger men have high libido and low experience. All the women know they can leverage their looks and sexuality to keep these men engaged. They know that these younger men haven't yet learned how to say no, enforce standards, vet properly, demand respect, give instructions, walk away. All the women can hide behind social perception. When the relationship fails, the younger man gets blamed, not the older woman, because society sees him as a man, not a young man, not an inexperienced man, not a guy who didn't know any better. No, the blame still lands on the male, even when the younger one, even when he's the younger one. That's the protection all the women hide behind. They get access to younger masculinity without being held to any accountability, which the society denies men being victims and victimize them at the same time. Because now you're a younger boy, you're in your 20s, you're in your teens, you don't know any better. You honestly don't know any better. And this is an older woman, a more mature woman, an adult woman, as they say, taking advantage of a younger male. And society still allows that to go down. Still punishes the younger male, even though he's inexperienced and he don't know any better. The older men aren't playing these games. Older men are stuck in their ways because they know the game. They live life. They've been tricked before. They've survived divorce court. They have standards. They can spot disrespect instantly. They don't fall for flattery or sexual bait. They require structure, femininity, and cooperation. And older men don't adapt to dysfunction the way younger men do. Older men are harder to manipulate, harder to control, and harder to emotionally trick. That's why Dr. Bryant's demographic doesn't want them. Older women want men they can influence, not men who see through the performance. Which is what Cheyenne. This is what I'm in my 30s and I can see through. So just imagine when I'm 40 and 50 years old, right? There's another layer nobody wants to discuss, right? This is the LGBT angle, openly. Older Black women on the left prefer younger men because younger men were raised in left-leaning environments that normalize LGBT acceptance. Not because the men naturally lean that way, but because they were raised in households with no masculine influence. They were raised around mothers who embraced liberal culture messaging. Their schools, media, and social spaces encourage LGBT ideology. They never have boundaries around male identity. They were not taught masculine leadership. They were not taught male emotional submission. Oh, my bad. They were taught male emotional submission. So the older women are choosing younger men because younger men are more flexible toward ideas that benefit left-leaning women. Meanwhile, older men are more traditional, hold masculine lines, reject liberal indoctrination, aren't bending to new cultural demands, won't compromise masculine leadership. This is why older men say older men are stuck in their ways. No, it's that older men simply refuse to submit to leftist ideology of female leadership, right? Deep contradiction. Dr. Cheyenne Bryant and Tracy Ellis Ross are in their 40s and 50s. But here's the funniest contradiction. These are the same women who spent the early 2000s complaining nonstop about Black men being down low, rainbow, or not masculine enough. They used that stereotype to justify dating outside their race, rejecting Black men. They were using this just during COVID. 5 years before COVID, throughout the whole 2000s, 2015, 2019, up until the COVID timeline arc story, to today. This is what's funny. Promoting feminist narratives, insulting masculinity, demonizing traditional men, and now they're suddenly praising younger men for being open to feminized behavior in LGBT culture. Which one is it? Were Black men too rainbow back then, or were Black men not rainbow enough for the modern woman's preference? But this is what's really going on. It exposes the truth. Those positions were never moral or principled. They were always strategic based on who younger women could control. Now, back then, 80s and 90s, Black women were used to push Black men to more thug and destructive lifestyles. This is why they chose the gangbang or the thug or whatsoever. It was a destructive lifestyle they were choosing, and it manipulated the men to be more destructive. Now it's pushing Black men to be more rainbowified, right? I hope some of y'all men will take heed and listen to me enough. Because it's enough Jamaican yard woman and Caribbean woman I do the same bomber clad thing. Oh, if younger men today are being shaped by liberal ideology, single mother households, emotional submission, acceptance of anything to avoid conflict, then when they become 40-year-old men, they will be the gatekeepers who allow destructive cultural ideas into the community because they were never taught masculine leadership. They lead from the position of male submission, not masculine authority. And that is exactly what the modern left-leaning female class prefers. Not men who lead, men who comply. Right? Dr. Cheyenne Bryant misinterprets younger men because she conflates genuine masculinity with inexperienced behavior, which she knows because she's a psychologist. So she know all the psychology I'm breaking down here. She's a psychologist. She's licensed for that. She's called herself doctor. So she knows exactly what she's doing. All the women target younger men not because younger men are better partners, but because they're easier to influence, less experienced, and more open to cultural values that older men reject. Meanwhile, older men maintain standards and structure, making them harder for older women to control. The contradiction lies in older women historically criticizing black men for being too feminine or too rainbow, yet now seeking men who exhibit the very flexibility they once condemned. And like I said, it's a control mechanism, right? The possibility of a larger agenda behind older black women's influence. I don't know if the older black women from these leftist circles are intentionally part of some elite class pushing an agenda on the black community. But what I do know is this. There's a historical pattern of infiltrating black movements, especially through the emotional vulnerabilities of black women. And when I look at what's happening today, a lot of it follows the same blueprint. The original civil rights movement versus the hijack version. When you go back and you look at true origins of the civil rights movement, it was simple. My fault. The goal was equal rights for black people, especially black men who were the main targets of racism, violence, and systematic oppression. But over time, the movement got infiltrated. If you go watch Godfather of Harlem, even though it's dramatized, there are scenes where you can visually see white liberal women sliding into the women, feminist rhetoric introduced into black organizing, rainbow language and ideology entering the conversation. There was a scene with James Baldwin. Come to find out, James Baldwin is part of that rainbow group. The original message getting derailed and diluted. And here's the key part. These additions had nothing to do with this securing equal rights for black people. They had everything to do with shifting the focus away from black male empowerment because there was a lot of strong black male-centered organizations like the NOI, the Black Panthers, even though Black Panthers were socialists. There were a lot of those groups that were black male-led and black male-centered. Black patriarchy on the rise, right? Because historically, if black men rise, black families rise. If black families rise, the community stabilizes. If the community stabilizes, it becomes economically independent. If black people can become independent, they don't need the system. So that's what was happening. You had a war between, you know what it was? This is what I just had the thought. You have people who are capitalists and you have people who are Marxists going to war over who black people should become. What ideology should forge black men? Should it be the capitalist plantation, which I don't call capitalism a plantation, my bad, but for the sake of the thing. Should it be capitalism or should it be Marxist? So that's what the battle was over. And black men were becoming patriarchal. They were becoming more capitalist. So you have to neutralize that. So this is why I disagree with the Black Panthers, because they were socialists. And a lot of those movements, a lot of them were communists and socialists. And I know why I know why a lot of black people lean toward that, because the oppressors of the time were capitalists. So that was very easy to push black people who are in a system that were demonized by white people who are capitalists and push black people towards Marxism. Because on the surface level of Marxism, it says, we distribute the wealth. It doesn't tell you how that works. It doesn't tell you that Marxism is just a centralized version of capitalism, whereas the state is in charge of the redistribution of your wealth, as opposed to capitalism, where it's a more individualized, you have control over your own wealth. Because capitalism says what? Private property, right? Capitalism says, private property, individualism, free market, or whatever. But with America's context, we're in a civic capitalism. That's another video. That's another breakdown. So weakening black men equals weakening the entire group. And the fastest way to weaken black men is not through violence, it's through cultural manipulation. Because black men are going to buck back. They're going to fight back. So it's easier to manipulate them with their women than it is to fight them head on. All the black women as the new vehicles for psychological influence. When you look at women like Dr. Cheyenne Bryant or black women in the leftist circles who dominate media, therapy, academia, and lifestyle spaces, something becomes clear. Their position as the spiritual or intellectual leaders of the black community. So you have to take a break here at the 20-minute mark, take 10 minutes, come back. Like y'all should really delve deep into my videos and to the value that I'm bringing, right? Y'all can watch all kind of crap on YouTube. Y'all can watch big titties and twerking for 6 hours. Y'all can watch Dr. Cheyenne Bryant up there because she light skinned and she bad, talk bullshit, but you don't want to watch this video and this game that I'm bringing. So take your break, go eat something and then come back. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the video, right? They are positioned as the spiritual, intellectual leaders of the black community, even though historically that was the role of black men. Because they have platforms, credibility, and the strong black woman's archetype, emotional influence over men, they can be used intentionally or unintentionally as vessels for messaging that. My bad. They can be used intentionally or unintentionally as vessels for messaging that redirects black male masculinity, black male leadership, black male purpose, and black male cultural authority. This isn't conspiracy, it's psychology. Crowd psychology plus social learning. The same tactic used in the dating market. This is the same pattern I broke down before. Women use their desires, their preference, their attraction, and their sexual access as a tool to condition men into adapting. Whatever women reward sexually, men will adapt to, unless those men are disciplined, masculine, and trained properly. If women reward bad boys, men act like bad boys. If women reward simps, men become simps. If women reward chaos, men adapt to chaos. If women reward feminine behavior, men soften their boundaries. If women reward alternative life, sexuality, men become more open to it. So in other words, if women reward given access to their box and they reward that to rainbow people, men will become that. This works especially well in younger men. Inexperienced men, men with high sex drive, men who were raised without masculine leadership, men raised by single mothers, men raised in liberal households, men raised in feminist influenced environments. That's the target group. The easier group to mold. The group Dr. Cheyenne Bryant is praising. All right. Right? Younger men with no masculine training, men raised in left-leaning cultural spaces, men trained to submit emotionally, men who confuse sex and purpose, men with high testosterone but low discipline. These are the easiest men to influence, the easiest men to redirect culturally. Those are the easiest men to program toward any agenda, political, or sexual, or social. And that's exactly why all the women push the younger men are more open narrative. All the women target younger men for relationships. All the women avoid older masculine men. All the women suddenly praise LGBT tolerance after decades of criticizing black men for being down low. All the women prop up narratives that weaken masculine authority. This is not random. This is not accidental. This is cultural psychological scale. Whether intentional or not, the outcome is the same, right? Disarm the masculine center of black community. Redirect leadership. Reroute the next generation through women to turn you on to slave, right? Slaves or submissive males. Modern left-leaning ideology, possibly driven by elite culture agendas, has infiltrated black spaces through older black women who unintentionally serve as influencers shaping younger black men through emotional, social, and sexual conditioning. This mirrors historical infiltration of the civil rights movement. The reward system of female desire reinforces conforming behavior in weaker or younger men, creating a generational shift away from traditional masculinity and black male authority. All right. All right. And you have to ask yourself, black men, right? Why are they pushing this on black men? Because they're pushing this on Caribbean black men especially. Because Caribbean black men, they are more traditional in a sense, especially when it comes to Jamaican men. All right, so This the historical infiltration of black movements by feminist ideologies, and it's a reward adaptation culture shift, right? Because I see a lot of Caribbean black women doing the same bullshit. While the left and so many black women pushing his shift onto black men so aggressively, why is it so important to shape how black men think, how black men date, how black men express masculinity, while black men tolerate, while black men accept what black men accept sexually, what black men allow culturally? Why is this the hill they're willing to die on? This is from the liberal left using black women. Because none of this pressure is happening to Asian men, Hispanic men, Jewish men, Middle Eastern men, African men, European men. It's specifically targeting at black men in the diaspora, especially black American men, right? So the natural question becomes, why black men and why now? A possible answer, black men are becoming too free. There's something people don't like talking about. Black men today are not black men of the 70s, 80s, or 90s, right? Right, where black men of those times, they had to what? You were either in the 80s and 90s. I talk about from my era, right? When you come to the 90s and the 2000s, it's either you are into baller entertainer, a rapper, or a gangbanger. That's what it was. Anything outside of those three things, you were lame. You understand me? If you were a doctor, lawyer, or whatsoever, you were lame in black culture. See what I'm saying? That's what black culture, that's what black women was rewarding. They were rewarding the NBA player, the baller, the entertainer, the rapper, and the gangbanger. Right? So now, in the modern time, and because guess what? Gangbanging and hustling, those are the only things that was what financially was there. But the thing is with those arenas, those were lucky shots. You know what I'm saying? Because in 2000s and I want to say that from when I graduated high school in 2010, right? It's very difficult to find work, even for people I saw going to college, right? Brothers who I saw going to college, it was very difficult for them to get work. I know niggas who had big engineering degrees, big mechanical engineering degrees, big degrees in this and that. It was very difficult for them to find work in their field. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of brothers turned to what? Street nigga shit, hustle. Because that was what was there. That was how you made money. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, being a garbage man or any of these things to black culture, most black women did not want that. They wasn't fucking with that. That's what the culture was. Right? But the black men today, what they got? Remote work, tech jobs, global career paths, entrepreneurship, digital skills, multiple income streams. This means they cannot be controlled economically the way earlier generations could, right? And they're free from what the culture told black men they had to be, right? A financially free man is a non-controllable man. This is why they don't want black men to have money or be in a position of money and power, because you're financially free. You're not beholden to anybody. Nobody can control you, really, unless you're P. Diddy and you're part of that space, that Hollywood space, and that whatever. Black men are no longer stuck inside one community, one neighborhood, one city, one culture, one dating pool. Because remember, black men, we just stuck in our neighborhoods, and we stuck to one dating pool, which is black women, because of pro-politically black culture. Right? Now we have access to multiple dating pools. Now because black men have money and all these other stuff, other dating pools are attracted to us. Now, mind you, other dating pools were already attracted to us, right? Especially Jamaican men. A lot of dating pools love Jamaican men, especially the African dating pool, right? If we go to a woman from Ghana or from Nigeria or West Africa, one of them places, I'm gonna say, yo, man, yard about I'm gonna start talking like this, boy, man, I tell you, North girl, North African woman, North China girl, North woman, and now, and it's Black American men too, right? And now we are, and guess what? This is what I love about social media. is because you don't just see the gangster black male or the entertainer black male. You see various different. You see black men who are streamers, black men who are fitness people, black men who write books, black men like who are nerds and making money. So now the world, other dating pools of women are seeing black men showcase themselves. So now it gives us access to the world dating pool. Right? They have global access, travel, passport bros, movement, interracial relationships, international dating, remote lifestyles. A man with options is a man you cannot manipulate through guilt or cultural shame. This is why a lot of dudes try to take away try to shame the passport bros. Because when you're a passport bro, you're expanding your options. Your options are not just sticking within America or within Black American culture. With Jamaican men, we've been doing that. Jamaican nigga can go to Japan, China, anywhere and get a bitch. So we've been doing that. You know what I'm saying? Black American men, y'all got to do that. Benjamin, we've been broke away from the hierarchy of shit. You know what I'm saying? Black American men is you got to do the same shit. Y'all should have been doing that. You know what I'm saying? It's just that when the Caribbean brother comes to America and he has to adjust to the Black American culture, right? Which is why I say that we shouldn't do that. We should stand on our own 2 feet. I'm still on that stance. We end up adapting to that kind of bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And our women tend to adapt to that type of bullshit and pick up those ideologies. You feel me? But anyway, a man with options is a man you cannot manipulate through guilt or cultural shame, right? So you can't. So now, because you have passport brothers, they're dating internationally, and remote lifestyle, you can't shame that type of black man into dating or sticking with his own group. That only works on a weaker black man, right? Who don't have that capability. Black men today do not fear the narratives that scared earlier generations. You ain't a real man unless you take care of someone else's kids. You're less of a man if you leave dysfunction. You're toxic if you want structure. You're a bad man if you have masculine boundaries. Those spells are broken. You can't control a man who knows the truth. If black men become too free, they leave the plantation. Now, here's that possibility. If black men become financially free, mentally free, socially free, globally mobile, emotionally disciplined, then black men no longer serve as the labor, backbone, resources, and protection for a community that drains them while giving them no respect. Historically, every system that ever dominated black men relied on one thing, because controlling the mindset is more effective than controlling the body, right? So historically, every system that ever dominated black men across the planet, especially in the diaspora, that's what they relied on, right? Now, if you look at the Willie Lynch letter, and I get it just saying the letter was fake, it's true. It may be fake as far as it was made up, but you can't tell me they don't use that blueprint. The letter may be fake, but the blueprint has been used, and they've gotten more effective with that blueprint of the Willie Lynch letter, right? Black male compliance. If black men stop complying, the plantation collapse. So what do? You create cultural controls. Instead of change, shame, guilt, ideology, sexual manipulation, gender narratives, identity politics, emotional dependence, political loyalty. The psychology plantation replaces the physical one, right? Because the mind, when you control the mind, you control the body, right? The role of black women and the left. You have to question why the messaging always flows the same way. Black men need to be more emotional. Black men need to soften. Black men need to accept everything. Black men need to support every movement except their own. Black men need to date older women. Black men need to be open to rainbow stuff. Black men need to stop leaving. Black men need to stay in the community no matter what. This is not organic. This is not random. It's crowd psychology and social conditioning. Why use black women to deliver the message? Because black men are not going to listen to liberals, politicians, academics, white elites, rainbow activists, corporate leaders. But they will listen to their mother, their grandmother, their aunt, their girlfriend, their wife, their therapist, the woman in their community. Black women have emotional influence, so they become the messengers for the ideology. Whether knowingly or unknowingly, all the Black women are being positioned to shift. Black men from leaders into followers, Black men from masculine into submissive, Black men from free agents, shout out to Coach Greg Adams, into controlled assets. It keeps Black men domesticated, compliant, dependent, directionless, and yes, it preserves access to Black men. Black men's money, effort, emotional labor, physical labor, protection, family building power, because a fully free Black man is a Black man who walks away and do as he pleases, right? I don't know what it is, but something is going on, right? Because nothing in history involving Black men has ever been accidental. I'll say it again. Nothing involving Black men and what's being done to us is ever accidental. There's always a purpose. And I don't know why. I'm just brainstorming the ideas you see here, but there got to be a reason to it. I just haven't figured it out yet. I can't see it yet, but I'm going to see it. Black men are being targeted by coordinated ideology, ideological messaging, delivered primarily through Black women in left-leaning cultural spaces in order to weaken Black male independence and preserve control over Black male labor. Resources, leadership, also sexual resources. You ever notice that a lot of white liberal women like the whole BBC thing? Look at the OnlyFans chicks. Look at corn. Look at all these different blue movie content that's being shown. What do you see white women and liberal white women engage in the most? BBC arguments. So they want to use Black men as a sexual resource. And once you're just bottled down to a sexual resource, all you become is sperm. Money, sperm, with no leadership or direction that they can use off of you. As Black men become more financially mobile, globally aware, and psychologically free, attempts to keep them tied to the plantation intensify. Right? I believe this conditioning is the modern replacement for historical systems of control. So they're just changing the operating system or framework, right? Anyway, that's the end of that, right? I want to play the rest of Cheyenne because the real thing hasn't begun. So I hope y'all stuck with me to the video and remember to like, share, and subscribe, right?
Surprised at how not thirsty for sex and women these younger men are. Meaning like they are literally saying, if we can't date or if we can't have some type of out of the bed romance, I'm turned off. Right. There's so many young men here who are like, women are just throwing the pussy at me. Versus
because those women are using sex to manipulate you men. I already broke that down why they're doing that, right? See, because men are not allowed to become victims, not victimhood. We don't understand that when women have access to sex from us, that's their gateway to having access to us. Right? And it proves one thing. She said it. She revealed it just now. This is how goofy they are. Women are just as sexually. Well, it's always been there, but just the male ego don't want to come to grip with this. Women are just as sexually charged or more sexually charged than the men. You know, because man, the maximum man can probably go at is maybe 3 times. I don't know. I can bang. Okay. First 15 minutes, I'll power down, come again. Another 15 minutes. Power down, then another 15. I can bang. You feel me? I don't know about y'all niggas, but I can bang. You feel me? But yes, 15 minutes is my max. I don't care. Anyway, women are just as sexually charged. And they're throwing the box at these dudes. They're throwing their monkey at these dudes. Bro, this whole time, Black men, or men especially, men in general, but Black men and Caribbean Black men, we were under the impression that Black women don't like sex. Or certain type of women or whole like sex. Nah, all of them like sex. All of them love it. They just been lying and using that to manipulate people. And they throw the box at niggas they like. Now they can be using the box to manipulate dudes, or they be using the box for whatever they do with it. but they're all thrown in the box, and it reveals that they like sex. She just revealed it. So whenever you guys listen to a chick talk about you gotta wait 90 days to get access to it, bullshit.
Back in the day, it was men were were chasing the cat.
Yes.
And that's a turn on for me. And you have the older men who are just kind of like, look, it's kind of like you're saying, I'm working, I'm doing me, what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
And I definitely want the intimacy as far as sex with you, but I'm not sure if I can commit. I'm not sure if my old ways.
What did Shannon Sharp just go through? Why would he want to commit to anything right now?
Allow me to maneuver or to transform into what's needed for a relationship. And you're finding, studies have shown, the older woman and younger guy is having the higher success rate when it comes to a healthy marriage and happiness.
Oh, it's bomba clot story. Which statistics shall blood clot talk about? Which study shall talk? What kind of? I'm gonna get a line of yeah.
I beg your pardon.
The older women and younger men, they're finding that success rate.
I told you about that success rate. If that success rate is true, but really don't break it down. Why it's true? If that is true, I already told you why it's true. I already told you. Because the younger men are more adaptable to. They were raised by dysfunctional mothers that taught them a lot of liberal garbage. See what I'm saying? You know what? Let's go into it.
Has actually outdid the older man and younger woman.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
And think about it, Shannon, though, us older women, we actually keep ourselves up a lot better than the generation of older women did.
Yeah, for sure.
Prior to us, right?
Yeah,
and so we are working out. I mean, of course, there's other augmentations that can be.
I already told you why they're doing that, right? Because that's all they have to offer to you younger dudes. They keep up their sexual appearance because that's the thing that's appealing to a lot of younger dudes who are inexperienced and have a high sex drive. You on Instagram right now, there's plenty of old women up there twerking and shaking it. And I'm attracted to them. I ain't gonna lie. But let me be honest. I got dick discipline to a degree. I don't got dick discipline like that. You see what I'm saying? I can hold out like blame for a moment, but eventually the thirst always go in. I'm just gonna say that. But I'm still not gonna get caught up. You know what? Let me not tell that lie. It could be possible. Because I ain't gonna lie, Dr. Bryant, she is fine. She's bad. And if she throw the monkey on me, she might catch a nigga. We might make love. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? You know, I got that Jamaican thunder. You know what I'm saying? That Jamaican yardstick. So I don't know. She might catch me. She might not catch me. Who knows? Who knows? You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna put myself in that delusional box. I got the most dick discipline. I'm not that guy. I got dick discipline to a level. Like my dick discipline level is probably all like a 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. My dick discipline go that far, but only for so far. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's continue. Oh my bad.
Be done. I'm not knocking nobody. That women are willing to do. The self-care is there.
Yeah.
Women are taking care of their skin. I mean, it's a whole nother.
But the younger woman can do the same thing.
World for women right now, in the sense of.
And the difference is the younger woman can actually give a man a legacy and birth. And I'm gonna break that down too, right? So let's go into the bullshit. So I wanted
how
to
they keep themselves up, and so there is no competition for
motherfucking law.
For us when it comes to young women, because we really are those women, like that 35 to 45, and I've even seen
younger women. You see what's going on? They're trying to take your young niggas from you.
Women at 55. I'm like, sis,
I seen them.
What are you doing? And
what?
Tracy Ellis is one of them.
Oh man,
I told y'all what Tracy Ellis Ross is doing.
have baby mamas. Very happy, very loving, very rich, very well taken care of, and have that glow. They ain't been married and they don't have no kids.
Because they're losers.
Just saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
We out here glowing.
It's, yeah,
and
yeah, it's
happy,
like y'all like
not
that.
stressed out.
Yeah.
Very sexual, very happy, very loving, very rich,
And losers.
very well taken care of. Dating, no, having our way.
Losers.
Very happy.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that there's not happy marriages, because there
Yeah,
are.
for sure.
But when you choose from that place,
Yeah.
you calibrate like mind.
So then by that logic, why you think when older black men are of that same level, and the reason why they're not choosing you old clucking chickens is because they're able to calibrate, as you say. They're choosing from a position of power and valuable masculinity, premium masculinity. And they know better than to choose one of your old chickens. Because they know your old chickens going to peck them to death. Peck them until they have an old heart attack. So how does the same logic apply for y'all, but it don't apply to people, to older dudes, the older gentlemen?
Find it like
Stuck in the ways, as you say.
vibrational energy. You're less likely to get somebody who is not happy, who's not healthy. You repel a man who's.
So why would the younger men who are happy be attracted to y'all? Wouldn't he not repel y'all too? By your same logic. She said earlier that the men in their 30s don't have any baby mamas. They're more matured, which means they have a healthier mindset, right? So the 30-year-old men who are more mature, as she say, right? Why would those mature men attract a Tracy Ellis Ross or Dr. Cheyenne Bryant? Because Dr. Cheyenne Bryant and Tracy Ellis Ross, they are running game, as I told you. Why would they attract women like y'all who can't provide them a legacy, who's there to manipulate them and take advantage of them? Anyway, let's go into
out there womanizing and doing certain things, because that man also knows he can't sustain that quality of woman.
So how do you know you're able to sustain the quality of guy that you're looking for who is younger? That's the other level to it. A lot of younger dudes, they have a lot of ambition. They're like wild horses, wild bulls on a farm. How you know your ass can sustain and contain them? Anyway, you know what? Let's get into it, the presentation. The breaking down the bullshit of Dr. Bryant. Right. The myth about men in their 30s not having baby mamas, she's trying to act like millennial men are the first generation of black men who don't have baby mamas. That's false. Gen X men, the generation before us, also had a majority of men with no kids. Only a small minority of men were responsible for most of the births, right? Because if you go to CDC stats, it tells you the stats. Look it up. So it was a lie they were telling during the 80s and 90s. So the millennial men aren't unique in that sense. What's the difference is this. All the Gen X and Boomer men wanted millennial men to have Johnson discipline. They told us don't get caught out there, but it's more along the Gen X men, right? The Gen X men, shout out to them. They kind of gave us the warning because they were the ones who went through most of the flame, right? The Boomer men were just happy wife, happy life, but there were some Boomers that were there that was like, I want to say like the later Boomer, the baby Boomers maybe, right? Like that are now touching 50 or like mid-50s, close to 60, right? They told us don't get caught out there. Don't be careful who you lay with. Don't get stuck paying for a mistake. Think first, smash later, because they got burnt. Child support, baby mama drama, custody issues, which a lot of Gen X men dealt with. More Gen X men dealt with that than the Boomers, right? False expectations. My father was a Boomer, and he dealt with that with my mother, but that's another story, right? But this Johnson discipline advice was one-sided, right? It held millennial men accountable for outcomes that needed to involve both genders. Women were never held accountable for their choices, only men were. Now here's the second layer. Women did teach men Johnson discipline, but indirectly, not through guidance, through behavior. Millennial men watched how women treated Gen X men, how babies were used to trap dudes. So let me read this properly. Women did teach discipline, but indirectly, not through guidance, through behavior. Millennial men watched how women treated Gen X men, how babies were used to trap dudes, how women weaponized sex, how courts punish men unfairly, how women blame men for decisions women made, how casual sex destroyed relationships, how women rewarded toxic men and punished stable men. So millennial men learned discipline the hard way. By observing how dangerous and manipulative the sexual landscape had become, not because women. So millennial men learned by observing how dangerous and manipulative the sexual landscape had become, not because women encouraged discipline, but because women behaved recklessly and men had to adapt. So today's men aren't not thirsty; they're strategic. They require more than sex. They require respect, reciprocity, feminine cooperation, and emotional stability. They're not chasing anything that doesn't contribute value back. Which I'm gonna go in on Dr. Cheyenne, whatever her name is, Dr. Cheyenne, and she did something in another video. That she said something in another clip that I saw, but that's for another video. They claim about older women plus younger men having higher success rates. She claims studies show older women plus younger men make the healthiest marriages. I don't even need the studies to break down the psychology behind that claim. This dynamic works for a simple reason. Younger men were raised by feminized matriarchal single mothers, so they are conditioned to adapt to women. They're not masculine yet. They haven't gone through the rites of passage. They're still impressionable. All the feminist women find them easier to instruct, influence, emotionally dominate, sexually manipulate. Meanwhile, older men are traditional, structured, authoritative, not easily controlled, expecting respect. So older women prefer younger guys because, which I already said it in the previous thing, younger guys behave like the sons they raise, not the men they fail to keep. But long term, younger men will eventually want legacy, family, a wife who can bear children. And older women cannot provide that. So if those marriages succeed, it's because the man is still mentally adolescent. She knows how to control him. He hasn't needed legacy yet. This is not compatibility, it's conditioning. So let me read that again. And older women cannot provide that. So if marriages succeed, it's because the man is still mentally adolescent. She knows how to control him. He hasn't needed legacy yet. This is not compatible. It's conditioning. Why she highlights their good bodies. When she talks about Tracy Ellis Ross and other women glowing, it's a tale. All the women emphasize beauty, sexual confidence, self-care, money, lifestyle, because those things are their bargaining chips. They cannot offer fertility, legacy, long-term partnership potential. Why would all the men who have money and stuff need all the women who have money and stuff? Why would he need that if women already crafted men to protect and provide? Why would he do that for a woman that says she already has those things and she's not going to spend that money on them anyway? And second, as I said in the previous presentation, a lot of younger men, they're coming into money now. So why would they need that anyway? Why would they need that from all the women if the younger men are coming into that type of money? There are a lot of younger black men who are into trades and construction like myself and making the bag. So why would they need that? Anyway, they cannot offer fertility, legacy, long-term partnership potential. So the emphasis on their bodies is the same strategy older women use with Gen X players, right? Use sex appeal to compensate for lack of maternal or legacy value. This is why they go after younger men. Younger men have not yet matured into legacy-driven masculinity, so sex and beauty work on them. Younger men are not their real target. Suckers are. When she says older women repel womanizers, she's indirectly admitting something older men who know women's games avoid them. Younger men, however, have less experience, are more emotional, are raised by single mothers, are conditioned to avoid masculinity, don't understand manipulation. So what older women want is younger men who don't know any better, or more blatantly, suckers created by their mothers. That's why she claims younger men aren't thirsty. It's easier for older women to catch men who aren't operating for masculine purpose, right? Right? That's why she's saying younger men aren't thirsty, because our younger men in there who are in their 30s, right? Because that's who she was targeting. Those younger men, they learned, right? And they want those men to be thirsty enough to fall for the games that women play. Right. It's easier for older women to catch men who aren't operating for masculine purpose. Right. Now, I'm not talking about all the younger men. I'm speaking in general, because there's a segment of younger men that fall for this, and there's a segment of younger men who don't. Guys like myself, guys who watch the Manosphere. Shout out to Angry Man. Shout out to those brothers there. And then things that I learned in my personal life. Like, I had a lot of this awareness when I was in my 16s, when I was 16, 18, and 19. That's why I didn't lose my virginity until I was 20, because I knew something was wrong then, right? But yeah, so a lot of younger men, because of the Manosphere, guys like the Angry Man, they shed a lot of light on this. So a lot of those younger men, they know now, but there's still a segment of younger men, which I think is the majority, in my opinion, that are still suckers for love out there. This is why I'm doing this, right? The false loneliness narrative. Women try to attach the loneliness to men, but historically men train alone, grow alone, think alone, find purpose in solitude. Solitude strengthens men. Women fear solitude because age reduces their sexual power. Beauty declines, they lose leverage, they lose options. And now they're trying to turn their personal loneliness into a universal men are lonely too narrative. Because she did say that in that clip, right? No men become selective. No, men become selective, not lonely. Women become lonely because the outcomes of their choices catch up to them, right? Because remember, women are on a ticking clock. Their biological clock ticks. So by the time they're 50, they can't give. It's hard for them to get children, or they can't get any children. So all they have to leverage is beauty and looks alone, and money. Which again, that's not going to work for the modern day younger male, because he's getting into his own money. Now, it might work on the sucker young male, the young male who's a sucker. But once that older woman burns him and he goes through his masculine arc training, that's not going to work again. Their compliments about orgasm contradict their message, right? Also, she did say this in that video. She did say this in that video. And there's a couple videos she said that in. But that's going to be for another video, right? So this, I did a lot of review about a lot of the stuff she said. So I might save some of this for another video. Right? So this is, so she remember the clip that I showed you. She's dirty macking on the younger women, right? She says the young women can't compete with older women. This is false. What she's actually doing is female dirty macking, blocking younger women from getting younger men, because older women want access to younger, impressionable men, financial stability without carrying children, sex without responsibility, male emotional labor, companionship without commitment, because older women can't have kids. So, they might be able to adopt, but they can't have kids. So now the young buck, he can bust her down without getting her pregnant, and she don't have to deal with that. Meanwhile, the younger women can have children with those younger dudes. So actually, the younger women can compete better for the younger dudes more than the older women. This is the survival, not empowerment, right? And then they could get male emotional labor, companionship without commitment, all the other stuff. Right? Women like Dr. Cheyenne are reframing dating trends to make older women appear more desirable while ignoring the cultural, economic, and psychological forces that shape millennial men into being less easily manipulated. Millennial men are disciplined, not less thirsty. older women seek younger men because younger men are easier to control. This is men in like your 18, 19s, and 20s, right? These relationships appear successful because they lack masculine pushback. Women create the over-sexualized culture, they'll blame men for it. Claims of grown, happy older women are strategic, not factual. Women are using crowd psychology and social learning and manipulation to reposition themselves. The real power struggle is between older women and younger women for control over male options. And beneath all of it, because, damn, I don't know if I should drop this one. With the combination of black men and passport bros, black men dating interracially, and black men, the population of black men has been is dwindling. So, or dying off. So black male masculinity is becoming scarce, right? Because if there's a good black woman in the market that I described earlier, they're going to be black men who pick those women and are going to be tied down. You feel what I'm saying? So in my belief, I think this is what the war is over. It's between black women, liberal white women, younger black women going to war over black male resources, black male labor. Damn. On beneath all of this, a culture attempt to condition men to adapt to female interests, not the other way around, right? This is actually going to be for another clip, so I'm not going to go through all of this. I think I broke this down already, right? Yeah, so this is going to be for another clip, so stay tuned for that. I'm going to end it here. Oh, I have a lot to break down. So this is going to be for another clip, right? Anyway, stay tuned for that. Anyway, this was Kish Yachty. This was Kish Yachty Gaming Nation. Remember to like, share, subscribe. And yo, I want to message to the black men, Caribbean black men, or whatsoever. Y'all gotta be very careful out here because it's gonna become very scarce. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the black men who are freeing themselves, or you gotta really leave black culture. Caribbean black men, we might have to leave Caribbean black culture too. Because as long as we stay there, it's a death trap. And trying to make it work with women with these type of ideologies, you're bound to fail. Anyway, this is Kish Yachty Views and Vlogs. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. I'm out.